Hello, everybody, and welcome into another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing VHS Beyond. Beyond what, you might ask? I just finished it, and I couldn't tell you, but that's what we're
Who's to say?
Joining me tonight, first up from Manhattan, New York City, please welcome John Schnars to the show.
I heard they just ran out of years, and so they're it's Beyond.
VHS 1931.
Oh, it's going to be one of those days.
Next up on the show, in his wizard hats from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
And last up tonight, John, fresh off of a flight to, what is it, SFO or something?
Yeah. Yep.
Straight to her house in front of the camera, John. You could learn a thing or two from this person. Please welcome Rachel to the show.
Hello,
It's
professional
dedication.
Clocking in.
That's right.
She's always camera ready, though. Come on.
That is kind.
Man, I'll tell you what, I don't know what to do with this bizarre northeastern weather happening right now, John. Let me tell you what's happening in my house right now. The windows are closed. The air conditioning is on. I am in shorts and a t-shirt, and I have a blanket on. And there's a heating pad behind me.
Well, come on. You always have the heating pad.
I don't know what to do. It's like having malaria. It's
not great.
No, it's not great.
We're all
80
Are you
degrees tomorrow.
like menopause? Is what
It's a little, a little bit.
There
I
might be
got
some
the
of that.
vapors.
perimenopausal.
80 degrees in New York City for Halloween tomorrow, John.
Woo woo.
Oh, that's actually amazing. I mean, do you trick or treat outside?
80's a little much.
No, it's going to be hot. I mean, I don't have a costume anyway, so maybe I'll just like put on a tank top and just be like a lifeguard or
Just
something.
pull something
you know?
sexy out. Yeah, it'll be perfect.
Yeah. I think considering it's been a topic of conversation, it's time to pull out the pervert West.
Oh.
Yeah.
I might
Or
still.
I was
don't know
gonna
if I have
say
that
slutty runner because I know you already have all that stuff just in your.
Yeah, all you need
Do
is some
like the
short
gay
shorts.
thing where it's like elaborate headpiece jockstrap. Perfect. Family friendly. That'd be great.
Rachel, this is New
kids
York
would
City,
like
not
it.
San Francisco.
Well, I mean, excuse me, but Halloween is gay Christmas, so
In some parts of the city,
don't
that
impugn
would
our
be
culture on our
celebrated.
day.
All right, y'all. Let's take a quick break and discuss VHS Beyond.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break.
Beyond John Schnarz's patience.
About the prime time.
John, I'm a little concerned that the people who make these movies might not be listening to the show because I feel like they're not taking my advice. It's like they just keep making the same movie over and over, over and over, like a blueprint.
Wow.
It's wild.
I have feedback.
Yeah.
I was confused for a second because I was looking. This is the 7th VHS film, but they said it's the 9th film in the franchise. I guess there were 2 spin-off films. I knew they did that Siren movie, but there was something called Kids versus Aliens as well.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means.
It's.
I think they expanded 2 of the shorts.
Yeah.
Interesting. Into full movies?
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
one that's like from the first one where she's like, I like you, and she has
Yeah.
like a that's
It's the
Siren.
first short in the first movie.
It's
I think,
honestly,
is Siren.
we'll talk about it later. I think it's one of the best. I didn't know they made it into a whole movie though.
Yeah.
Was it good? This is news to
Well,
me.
you haven't heard of
Who's
it.
to say?
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
I don't know. I haven't actually seen it.
All
It might be
right,
amazing.
John, please bring us the word of the day.
Eric, today's word is one I'm surprised I've not used. The word is taxidermy.
Oh,
That is T.
did we not use that during Tusk?
I looked.
Yeah, it is
I checked. I checked the list and it wasn't on there, so I'm going with it. Taxidermy, Taxidermy, taxidermy. The art of preparing, stuffing, and mounting the skins of animals with lifelike effect. Comes to us from the Greek, taxis, meaning arrangement, and derma, meaning skin.
Taxiderma.
Taxiderma. Yeah.
Somehow it sounds even worse that way.
So there you go.
Love it. John, tell me about VHS Beyond.
Yeah. Well, as I said, seventh film in the series. So we've had, just to run them down for you quickly, there was VHS, then there was VHS 2, then VHS Viral. Then they started doing the years. You had 94, 99, 85. Now we're at Beyond.
Got it.
There are 5.
They should just give it a number. Just go old school. Just give me some Roman numerals, man.
Look, we can get to it. There are 5 shorts. Look, I mean, we can try to remember what they're called, but I'll just give them to you now. Stork, Dream Girl, Live and Let Dive, Fur Babies, and Stowaway.
Okay, and I think what we should do is here, you give well,
no, let's just fucking go. Maybe we go one by one. We go really
that's
quick.
what I'm saying. But let's do
Okay.
general thoughts overall, and then we'll hit them one by one. But if you want to give maybe a quick synopsis of each one.
Yeah. Well, so the frame here, the frame story. So there's 5 shorts, but there's a frame that's called Abduction, Adduction. I don't know. That sounds ridiculous to even say out loud, but it's the container of all of these, or most. Well, not even really. It's like alien and sci-fi ish across all of them. I would say that's like the unifying thing. So you have the rapper story is a documentary, and actually the filmmaker Jay Cheel is a documentarian. It looked like, and it's presented like a straight documentary, and they like found some tapes, and so like that's the end of the movie is like they're actually just playing the tapes that they're like talking about in some of the interstitial scenes. So Stork is sort of like a sci-fi-ish thing where we're following a SWAT team that has a weird acronym that I forget, like Outrage
Warden.
or something. Warden. Okay, Warden. And they are going into a house. I can't even remember why they're going in, but they're all wearing body cams, and we're like cutting around all these different cameras. And there's like zombies there, but some of the zombies have weapons. And then what? Oh, well, and then there's like a weird thing that happens at the end that I'm going to save it because it's the funniest, most interesting part. You have Dream Girl. That's the one about sort of like the Bollywood dancer singer who is a robot. Spoiler alert. For
Question
that one, I guess.
mark? Question mark.
Hold on.
We'll talk
That's the
about
AI one, right? That's the AI warning.
We'll come back
Maybe.
to it.
Okay.
She's definitely a robot. I mean, there's like red lights coming out of her face.
Beg to do like
Okay.
sure. There's a red
All right.
light, but there's other pieces of evidence that are
All right,
confusing.
we can come back to it. Then we've got Live and Let Dive. This is one where there's like a bunch of friends who are going skydiving, and we're in the skydive plane, but then aliens attack, and their plane hits the spaceship or gets hit by the spaceship or something. So then they're all skydiving. They land on the ground, and then aliens are just like eating them. And then the guy like gets in a car and he goes back up into the spaceship, I think. Then you've got Fur Babies. So Fur Babies is the one directed by Justin Long, with Christian Long, it says. Maybe Christian Long was the writer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got it up.
Is that
Directed and written by both of
Yeah.
them.
Oh, okay. So this one is about like animal rights people who are going into a crazy taxidermy lady's house. Like I think they call her crazy taxidermy lady. And she like also boards dogs. So they're pretending they're like looking at her house to like board the dogs. They have like a hidden camera. But then it turns out that she just like kidnaps people and turns them into like dog humans.
Yes.
We can get into it. And then the last one is Stowaway. This one written by Mike Flanagan, directed by Kate Siegel, his wife, and
Yes.
yeah, oftentimes collaborator. And it's called Stowaway. And the main character here is like video documenting alien sightings, but then gets abducted, sort of, or like somehow
Stows
ends up on
away.
a ship. Yeah, she
stows
stows
away.
away. But like she's sort of invited in. There's like a entryway that opens and she goes into it. I mean, I don't know. I was
Going out
getting
here
old.
talking about blurred lines. But
There were some blurred lines.
Love it. All right,
Yeah.
Rachel, welcome back to the show. What did you think of VHS Beyond?
so I feel like I'm gonna be the outlier on this one to some degree. I actually really enjoy the VHS franchise. Like they don't all hit, but there's enough of them that are pretty fun, and every movie has at least one or two segments that I really enjoy. So, when there's a new VHS, this is definitely something that I look forward to. And I think that it had a little bit of a low point and then kind of came back with 1985. And I feel like this one, for the most part, is on that same trajectory. I enjoyed almost all of the segments, like to varying degrees. There's definitely some standouts here and some that worked less for me, but all of them have a little something for me. Like they're silly or they're bonkers or they're, in one case pretty actually chilling. So yeah, I obviously I'm gonna want to talk mostly about Stowaway because of Kate Siegel's involvement, but for the most part, I like this one. There's some weird things, and Justin Long is working out some shit about his time as a walrus for sure. But overall, I felt like this was one of the stronger entries in the VHS oeuvre.
Casey.
Yeah, I was not a big fan of like the last couple VHS. There was a couple, winners in each one of them, but overall, I just felt like they were kind of running downhill, running out of steam. This one, now, I ended up liking this one quite a bit more than the last couple. I wouldn't say, it wasn't an overall win, but I thought this was a really strong entry for the VHS movies. It kind of got me back on board a little bit. I kind of love the overlying theme. I'm a sci-fi nerd, love aliens, so, I'm kind of a mark for this. And there's really good stories in there. Oddly enough, the one not alien story in here was one of my favorite shorts just because it was so goofy and kooky, which is the Fur Babies from Justin Long. It's just out there, and I love it for that fact. But I really love Stowaway even more because that really hit all the hard sci-fi notes in subtle ways, and I loved it just by the time it got to the end. Even if I would have liked it a little bit clearer to see what was going on, but I think it was super atmospheric and everything. And I love the science implications behind it, so that was fun. There's a couple stinkers in here. I rephrased that. For me, there was one that I would call a stinker. There was one that was getting close, but overall, I like the other ones. The first one and this one, too, was kind of weird and kooky and sci-fi-ish, too, I liked. It kind of zagged when I was expecting it to zig once we first started seeing the zombies. So, overall, yeah, this was a fun entry for me. I liked it. It's an improvement for VHS over the last couple of years.
John.
John, you're muted.
Now you're.
I thought he was just making faces.
You have to
I was
unmute
like,
yourself.
that's your
All right,
review.
yeah. I thought you had me, bro. I thought you had me. I was not taken by most.
Taken.
Now, here's the thing. I will very much agree that each of these has moments that I liked. They're sort of like fun for what they are. I like, because I feel like the original VHS only has 3 shorts, if I remember. I think 5 is like more than they've had. I feel like it was like 3, then it was sort of 4. I don't know.
The last couple ones have been all over the place.
The point being, some of these, like, they're short. Like, they're not, they like kind of clip right along. I don't know. Like, some of it's just my issues with found footage generally. Like, I get a little frustrated when it's just like, hey, it's found footage, but we're just going to show you, like, whatever camera angle we feel like and, like, pretend there was a camera there. It's just like, wait, what? Where did this shot come from? So there's some of that doesn't work for me. There's also some of it where it's like, this is like an interesting idea, and it didn't need to be found footage. It could have just been like a regular short, and I would have probably. I realize that doesn't work for VHS. Like VHS is a found footage franchise.
John, you're
It is
speaking
what
to
it
me
is.
tonight.
Well, but again, like this is like criticism I would offer of almost any found footage movie we watch, except like the 5 good ones, or the 5 that I like, I should say. If I had to pick a favorite, which I know you did not ask, but I will offer, I think it's the skydiving one. I think that plane sequence.
Correct answer.
Yeah, well,
pretty
everything until they get to the ground, and even like the first.
It just
like, couple
goes on
minutes
a
of-
little too long.
Yeah,
Like it
it's too long.
doesn't. Once they're on the ground, like faster to the end because the end is great. But it's
The
like, yeah.
plane stuff is excellent, and I
Yeah.
think the skydive sequence is really, really good.
Yeah.
I think
It's
that's the
And
best.
the
like,
landing.
I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the best
well, yeah, for
pure found footage in this movie. And do you know why? Because there's one fucking camera.
Yeah, and I
And
like
it's a scenario where it actually makes sense for that person to have a camera
Yes.
in their head.
So I can stop there. I don't know. I have other thoughts, but that's
You've now
that's where-
activated me, and I'm ready to go.
Okay, good.
No, like I said, like this is exactly what the last 3 or 4 of these have been. Like it's like there's one decent thing, a couple of like, okay, and then like 2 to 3 things that make you want to fucking walk over to the bridge and fucking just jump off.
Wow.
The thing that like just
I don't know.
really,
I mean, I wouldn't
the
have
thing
killed
that I
myself. Let's turn it
cannot get
off,
with
but-
this movie is it's like, and I think it's intentional. I think they're trying to just like channel this punk rock kind of vibe of the first few where it's like, whatever, man, just whatever idea you got, bro, just do it. And it's like, but what it creates is this completely mismatched in style and tone and storytelling thing where it just feels like we're mashing shit together that doesn't go together. Okay. I actually love the idea of starting to theme them. I'm kind of into the year idea,
yeah.
right? Because it gives you, and I was into this, like, okay, we'll have a sort of subgenre. It is such horse shit though. Like, first of all, the bird fucking whatever, that was just a zombie story. That's not aliens at all, bro. That's bullshit. The Bollywood thing has nothing to do with aliens. The Justin Long thing has nothing to do with aliens.
Well,
like,
I think the container is sci-fi. That was like,
Sci-fi, yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree, they do tee it
there's
up as,
enough
like,
other alien shit in this
alien-ish.
because there's 2 full alien things plus the wraparound.
Yeah.
Just theme the whole goddamn thing. Like, don't give me
I
fake
thought that's what
zombie
they were
aliens.
doing. The stork thing could be an alien. Like that could
Yeah.
have just been an alien.
No,
stork.
I assumed it was, but the whole segment taken on his face is just a zombie thing.
yeah.
Like it's like your force. It's just
Can
and
you
also was like
explain
a
how
bad
Bollywood
cutscene.
lady is not a or a robot?
because she was kind of like a zombie too. That Bollywood thing is as bad as like anything I've seen in one of these VHS movies. Like I was almost tapped out when that was over, and it only took this skydiving thing to bring me back. I think it's the best thing in this movie. I think it's even better than the Kate Siegel one, which is the other, I think, high point in the film. Because it is simple. There's one camera. It actually got me with a jump scare. That stupid alien hand on the window fucking made me jump like an idiot. I do think it has, again, this is the problem with all of these VHS things. They're always trying to put a goddamn hat on a hat. They're always trying to do it one click too silly or over the top, or like the alien didn't need to look like that. Okay? Like the alien looked kind of dumb and the CGI was bad. Like
Well,
it just
it's
doesn't,
very low
the thing
budget,
with
to be
its
clear.
its head and then the fucking like it's T1000 or T2 or whatever the hell that Robert whatever Spikey's coming out of his. It just needs to be an alien. Like I don't understand.
You're talking now about the skydive one,
Yeah,
where the spikes
like-
come out of his arm.
This
Yeah.
is my point. Is that was so close to just being exactly it, but they're always trying to put a hat on a hat. That's like my criticism of this entire goddamn movie.
It was very weird, that thing.
See,
Like it just
That cracks me up because the skydiving one was my stinker.
really.
I
To
didn't
me,
like it.
if that thing
Wow.
was not in the position it was in, I'm like rage quitting this movie at that point, honestly, because the first 2 are terrible. First 2 are very bad. Anyway, but
Oh, wow.
whatever, it's fine. The Kate Siegel one is I love it conceptually. I love the little nanobots. I just feel like she's talking too much, this main character. Like she's way too chill considering she literally just walked into like an alien spaceship and is seeing the most insane shit ever in your life. And she's like, oh, she sounds like Dr. Spock or something. She's like, oh, I guess they can't repair my DNA because like, and it's like, I don't need all this. Like, just show it to me. I don't need you saying, I actually don't need her saying anything. Like, just let me watch what's unfolding in front of her. Because otherwise, like, it's pretty compelling. I'm with Rachel and Casey on that one. Like, I think that's really good. And then I thought for all the build up, the end of the wraparound was pretty disappointing. It was just like, I liked the video part of it, but it's too short. Like,
It was very short.
because
It just
you know,
was like, boop.
you
I was
said
like, wait,
they're
that's the end of the movie?
documentarians. Like, you can tell because it's pretty decent fake documentary stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
the
it
people
reminded
in
me
it
of that
are-
really wild wraparound from the last one with the thing that was like imitating people in the room or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Wasn't
Yeah.
it the wrapper on the last one?
Yeah, that had the
I mean,
tentacles at the end.
that
Yeah.
shit was
And
amazing.
it had a
And I-
really great payoff. Yeah.
Oh, I
and
don't
that
remember
vibe,
but-
this mockumentary vibe here, to me, that's where they should really be leaning into. But again, it would take them creating something more cohesive and not this just hodgepodge of like sticking stuff together.
Rachel, what were you going to say about the people
Yeah.
in the documentary?
So they like actually brought in real like experts. So those are like people, experts, people.
Yeah, they're all really
who are-
good.
They're
Oh,
all
so, like, the
talking heads
video
who,
guys
like,
and stuff?
Work,
Yeah.
that do actually do that, or like the guy that they keep cutting to, that's kind of like the rockabilly guy, is someone who is in all of those like UFO kind of documentaries.
Oh, he's like an
and stuff.
actual. That's like his job.
Yeah.
It's like UFO talking.
And so
head.
it adds like this level
Nice.
of realism. It's kind of a shame that it doesn't have a payoff in the end that makes sense.
I
I
mean-
get what they were going for, was like he was trying to do like realism, and I
It's just
appreciated
good,
the
so
augmented
give me
reality
more.
of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because it feels like the finale and it's over very quick with no
Mm-hmm.
resolution or anything. I mean, that's the kind of found footage that really
fair.
like gets my gears turning. It's like
Mm-hmm.
horror in the high desert or something, like when
Mm-hmm.
you nail a fake documentary, because it's really hard.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I to be fair too, I literally just watched this, so I'm a little fired up still. But it's exactly how I feel about
He's
the last
responding
couple.
emotionally too.
It's exactly how I feel about the last few. There's a couple bangers in here, and there's just a lot of junk that doesn't need to be here. I like the Justin Long one too. It bothers me that it looked so nice. Like, and again, there's a problem with camera angles. That was my big beef. Sorry. So my big beef with the first one, with the bird alien, like, all right, it's a good gag. There's too many camera angles. I don't need 12 camera angles and everybody
Yeah.
mic'd up.
You never
Because
know where the camera angle.
The whole point of found footage, right, is that the reason why it's compelling is because it forces you to observe things from different perspectives and angles than you normally would, and you are missing information that you're normally given in the film, and that's like at its best, that's what creates the fear. And now you see that at play in the skydiving one, where they're in the orange grove and the guy runs away from it. He's with his friends one moment, runs away, and then he hears screaming, and then he runs back, right? Like, that's playing with like the spatialness of it, right? Whereas in this thing, I just feel like I'm watching like a video game cutscene in this first one. There's so many cameras in that one. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Justin
I mean,
Long
it's
one
the
kind of
aliens,
suffers from
like-
that too. What really got me is at the end with the dog people. There's like kind of cameras on them, but it's like here. Like the lady's feeding the dog at the end, and there's a camera like here, and I'm like, where is that camera? Like, why? So, that stuff takes me out of it. I'm a little anal about found footage, Rachel. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
I think that's totally fair. I think in the case of Stork, they're obviously doing like an homage to Aliens, where everybody or Wreck, where everybody is camered up. I liked that one just because it was so out there and absurd, and there was a zombie with a chainsaw. You know what I mean? Like, there's some things that are just, guilty pleasures, and you have to lean in and enjoy that moment.
I will say,
I-
go ahead.
As far as fur babies, I knew you guys were gonna love this one. As soon as I saw it was Justin Long, I was like, "This is in the bag for this crew." But this one was probably my stinker of the bunch, except for the end where one of the dog hybrids eats a porch pirate. Then I was like, "Justice."
See,
on
I
screen.
thought it
Nice
was
to see it.
pretty
Yeah.
good because that lady is like, she's like channeling some like Kathy Bates vibes.
Oh,
Yes.
she was excellent.
She's great.
Yeah.
It's overall like silly. I think
Mhm.
knowing it was Justin Long helped because I love him, and it's pretty funny. It's creepy. Again, like I don't like the camera angles, but
I
thought it was
didn't
pretty
think.
good. I just
I-
want to look. If that's supposed
I-
to be like a hidden camera or something, just make it look shittier. Like just humor me, please. Like looked like a red camera or something. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I liked her, and I thought her performance was actually great. And I get that they're doing like a Frankenstein thing, but like the developmentally delayed brother was not great in that
Yeah.
section.
She like did something to him, I assumed. I don't think he was like born that
I
way.
know. Well,
She said something about
still.
his accident.
Yeah, but I
know.
mean, I still think that they're playing with like stereotypes of like, I'm not going to say it, but strength of a certain variety that is problematic.
I don't even know what
I
you're
didn't write
talking
the
about.
short. I'm just calling it out for what it is.
My problem with that one,
I was wondering where they found dog paws that big to sew
I-
on those people.
I
That seemed
found that
pretty
one
wild.
like amusing, and it's I think one of the shortest. So I was like, whatever. It doesn't work narratively. No, it just there's not like a clean arc to it. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like you have these two people that you're sort of supposed to care about who are like filming her, but then they kind of get captured, and you spend a lot of it with just her face to the camera. Here, now I'm doing some other thing, and like now I'm putting Puffy's tail back on, or not Puffy, Abraham or whatever. Well, I did like
Yeah.
all the dogs had to have like regal names. That I was amused
Yeah.
by that. But I don't know. I like the porch pirate bit.
Yeah,
And-
that
but
was
like
great.
it just doesn't. It didn't do anything narratively. I guess other than just be like,
no.
what if a crazy lady like sewed dog parts to people?
But it's
Yeah,
found
but to
footage.
me-
like, does it need to do something
Yeah,
narratively?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
to
think
me,
that's where
that's
I think
what's
that's where they get in trouble when they're trying to do
Yeah.
too much.
to me that's what these anthologies are for. Is just some random goofy shit. That's what makes it fun. So I'm
Get
okay if
in,
it's
do your thing,
not
get
narrative.
out. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have liked it then to be half as long. Like I got the point. Like it like lands the joke, and then it's like kind of like lingers with the joke a little bit, and you're just like,
I mean, one of
okay.
the best ones in the first two films, I can't remember which one it's in. It might be the second one, maybe the first, where they're in the haunted house. It's like the last segment in one of the first two movies. It's like
Yeah.
10 minutes long, and it's just
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
definitely fair.
I will say, being on a plane today, I was thinking about Live and Let Die, and because it actually kind of taps into. I have like a reoccurring nightmare where I'm looking out at the horizon and an alien ship just appears, and then like the anxiety about what are the motivations, what do they want? So the idea of it popping up when you're already in this like space of vulnerability, I thought was just brilliant, and then everything that follows after it. Like I think the most grotesque sort of moment, even though we're seeing like human dog hybrids, the most grotesque moment in the entire thing for me was when we see the guy falling with his leg cut off, and it's just a trail of blood
yeah.
following him down, and then we get to the bottom and there's like the decapitation, like all of that stuff, all of that body
Dude,
horror.
the way that he slams on the ground, like, because you're watching, or you can't, again, because there's only one camera, you can't fully see what he's doing, but you're like, okay, he must be trying to deploy his chute.
Yeah.
And then it does go off, and you think he's all right, but then he looks down to the ground and just slams into the ground. That's just good shit.
So close.
That's just
Yeah.
good shit.
It's
See,
really,
that-
really effective.
No, I didn't like the Live and Let
Yeah, explain
Die
yourself.
or whatever. I didn't like that as much because I didn't like the setup to. I liked the alien stuff when it started. The scenes from the plane. They looked out the window and they saw the giant saucer attacking the city, and then when that hand crashes through their window and grabs the side of it. I like that stuff, and I liked like even the scenes like Eric was talking about when they're crashing. But that, to me, watching them for like 5 minutes just sitting in that plane talking to each other to set up that alien stuff fell flat for me.
But you know
And
what's
then
worse?
The parts on the
20
ground.
20 minutes in Bollywood before anything happens. Like, holy
That-
Christ.
That's fair.
Very fair. Yes. That's
But then
very
once they
fair.
got on the ground too, I didn't like like Eric was saying earlier, like the CGI aliens, and
I
it
don't
felt
love
just
the
kind of,
alien.
it all kind of felt run of the mill to me once they got on the ground. That's
It's
why
a
it
little
was my
mist.
stinker.
It's a little too misty CGI for me. 2009 CGI. I did love the fighter jet. That's another good
Yeah,
jump
when
scare
it-
when the fighter
Yeah,
jet
that was a
flies
good one.
under the plane
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yes. I feel like it had that section. It's interesting that you didn't like that opening part because I felt like it built so well. Even the moment where he's trying to get buckled into his friend buckled in, and he's so panicked that he won't sit still long enough, and
Yeah.
they're going out the plane. Like all of that, I felt like really ratcheted the tension effectively. And if you've ever been in one of those planes where you're like strapped to someone, it is terrifying.
Have you been in one of those? I've never been. I've never done the skydiving.
I've never
Yeah.
been
Wow.
skydiving either.
I thought about I was going to when I was younger, and then it just kind of never happened, and I think not. ever again. So
It was nothing I planned. It was like spontaneous skydiving.
You were just like, you woke up and you were in a plane, like strapped to someone.
I mean, I was going with someone else who was skydiving, and then they were like, "I'm going to pay for you to go," and I was like, well, "All right, fuck it," and so it just sort of happened. But
I'm not against
know.
it, but I can't see anything other than a flight attendant or the flight guy that I'm going to be jumping with being like Eric size and looking at me like, "You ready?"
what are you trying to say, Casey?
I'm just saying it's going to look like my giant ass hanging off your stomach.
I would imagine those are pretty big dudes normally.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess they have to match you up appropriately.
yeah, I would think they got to match it.
I mean, I would assume. I actually think there's like you. It would actually be the opposite. Like you're trying to balance the weight, so you would probably get a smaller person.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Because there is like
Interesting.
a limit for the shoot. But the other thing, I want to talk a little bit about Stowaway because I found that one to be really interesting for a couple of reasons. For one thing, it's just terrifying. The idea of the implication of what is going to happen for her is horrifying. But it's the only one of the entire segment where the alien is not like malicious or have sinister intent. It's just truly one of like it's so tragic because it's just someone being in the very wrong place at the absolute worst time possible. And there's something particularly poignant about that made it even more haunting. Like there's these little moments, like you get a little bit of backstory of what she's leaving behind, and I don't know.
You're talking about the last one.
Yeah, on Stowaway.
Yeah.
I found that one like actually I had the most fun with Live and Let Dive. Like that one was to me kind of a perfect.
I had this
perfect
thought
little,
that
alien
like
abduction, but this one haunted me.
I had this thought that the purpose is for it to just sit there and let stuff crawl into it to like keep in its little
What
terrarium.
do you think?
Yeah, like that, like because I always kind of like that idea with aliens. Like it's like Annihilation.
They're like
Like,
collecting for the zoo.
I don't.
Yeah,
thi-
exactly. Like they just sit there on the landscape and just let stuff. I thought of that when I saw the spider. Like I bet the spider just wandered in.
See,
They
to
might
me,
have.
and to the point Rachel is making to me, I love this one because I think the aliens were completely oblivious to her. I
do
don't
too.
think
That's
they were
what I'm
collecting
saying.
anything, but yet because they're like to what you're saying, if they're collecting and stuff, they know how that light speed jump's going to work, so they're going to stow stuff away.
Exactly.
Well, you see them get like put into some sort of liquid something to preserve them for the space travel, and then the alien itself like goes and like gets into its little like light speed locker, whatever, and
Yeah.
she's left to the elements. I don't know. I thought it was horrifying and fascinating, and
What?
very
And I was
different
really
than the rest of the movie.
I was, but also I was fascinated and I loved of it is just the idea behind the nanites and stuff, and you see them harmlessly come and fix her cut earlier on, and then as the aliens start showing up, you start to see it's changing her, and you get the implications of that. And then after that first jump, the first time you see the first mutation, because those nanites don't know what the hell a human is, it's like, oh, this is perfect. This is like good sci-fi right there.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't like a good nanobot be able to just read your DNA and know if they can literally float through the air and fix you? Wouldn't they just be like, "Oh, I got this. Okay, I see you."
Yeah, you never know.
Maybe
They've
they
never
don't have
encountered one.
DNA. Yeah, maybe it's like
Or maybe the DNA is like close enough that they're just like, okay, these parts will work. They don't.
I like to think of that as a reference to Jason X.
What was the other movie we watched that you were thinking was referencing Jason? Oh,
The-
Terrifier
the-
3.
Terrifier 3. That I'm actually pretty convinced. By the way, John, did you see that tomorrow? This is like the perfect. It's like your worlds colliding.
Mm.
Art the Clown is going to ring the closing bell at the stock exchange tomorrow.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
When you say tomorrow, you mean on Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah.
Terrifier 3's Art the Clown. Oh, rings NASDAQ closing bell as Cineverse celebrates Halloween.
Why not?
Well, they are. It's a publicly traded company, Cineverse.
Well, and it's like the #1 independent movie now of all time.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Unrated, yeah. There you go,
Yeah,
John.
unrated.
I just
That is
Wall
cool.
What
Street-
a time to be alive.
Art the
Yeah.
Clown.
If
Who
I had
knew?
known, I would have gone down just to see him.
Exactly.
Tomorrow, you still have time, right?
Imagine how David
I'll be
Howard,
trick or
that,
treating or
the
getting ready.
guy
to.
that plays Art, feels. David Howard Thornton's like, holy shit, I'm going to the stock
Yeah,
exchange.
really. Can you imagine?
No kidding.
I think I sent you guys that meme of some lady online who said something very out of pocket about the Art the Clown actor, and then he responded to it.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, she's working blue, as they say.
Yeah.
Any other feelings on VHS Beyond?
We really haven't talked much about the Indian one. That one I thought had some potential as it was going through there, but then as things started to unfold, it just felt kind of a little bit cheap, I think.
Half baked. Like it
Yeah.
just didn't make any sense.
I'm just waiting for someone to make a good, and I mean, listen, I love Megan, don't get me wrong, but like an actually scary AI film. I feel like it's ripe for it, but nobody has quite unlocked how to make it
Yeah.
actually scary.
Well,
Have
Megan
you
is
seen
great,
Demon
but
Seed?
it's-
We've talked about Demon Seed. I
I
mean,
need to,
Yeah.
yeah, I need to see
Megan
that.
is
Yeah.
great, but it's just like
Not
it's
that
the,
scary.
it's the fun
not-
and kind of
yeah.
campiness. It's like a fun slasher or something.
Exactly. But I feel like there's something there, and it's obviously not that Afraid movie that we didn't even bother to
That's
That's out on
watch.
VOD already. I saw it
I
today.
know.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure.
But yeah, like there is something terrifying about the singularity, right? That there is potential for that to be terrifying. The closest thing
Rachel,
we
you ever
have is The
seen
Matrix.
The Lawnmower Man?
Oh, speaking of problematic depictions of
Or The Lawnmower Man,
developmental delay.
or The Lawnmower Man Part 2 starring Matt Frewer.
Oh shit! Is Matt
Mhm.
Frewer in that one?
He's the Lawnmower
Oh,
Man.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He is the one. Is he the same Lawnmower Man recast, or is he a new Lawnmower?
I don't
I'm
remember.
not sure, actually. That's a good question.
I
I'll look.
thought it
I'll
was
do
the
some
same,
research.
but now I
during the
can't
break.
remember.
But Matt Fuhrer makes everything better, so
That
That's
is
true.
true. That's a fact.
All right. Would you recommend VHS Beyond, Casey?
yeah, I think so.
John?
It's gonna be a no.
Rachel?
At this point, you know what you're getting into with a VHS. This is one of the better ones. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it a flaccid yes. What?
I'm gonna need at the end of the year. I'm gonna need somebody.
I want
probably.
a turgid yes.
No, I'm gonna need somebody to go through all the episodes. I want to know what our yes rate. I feel like we're just. It's like we're.
I can't force it, Rachel. I got to be in the mood, you know?
Fine.
All right.
You know what? I have a memory of us actually liking the last VHS. Am I
Well, I
crazy?
think the
Am I
last
blending
one-
it with Satanic Panic? I feel like we all actually liked the last
Satanic
one.
Hispanics.
Or
Was
Hispanics,
actually
yeah.
good. That one.
Yeah.
It's
I
great.
Will
It's
say
I
great.
feel like I
I'm-
might be blending them, but
That's the movie I think about when I'm like, do any of these work? And then I'm like, oh, Satanic Hispanics, that definitely worked.
You know, and you know what that movie does? It has a coherent style and visual sense to it.
well, they're not all found footage. They're just regular.
Yeah, but still,
shorts.
they're still random shorts made by different people. It just proves that you can make it cohesive from a visual standpoint.
Yeah, fair.
It bothers
How
me.
long do
John.
how far away do you think we are from a best of VHS where they pick like popular shorts from each one and repackage it with a new
it's
wrapper?
just Safe Haven over and over and over again.
I'm telling you, I think we'll you know what? Let's save it because we got a question about it. So,
Okay.
all right, let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Are we going to talk about them announcing VHS 8?
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. Rachel, why don't you tell us what you were doing on the plane?
I mean, okay. So to be fair, I was already fired up because I was like in the second to the last row, which apparently is the daycare of the plane. So there was like literally 3 crying children
Dude, last
for
row
4.5
sucked.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucked. and it was like super windy, so super shaky. So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna listen to my friends, my good friends who I love and respect, and who love and respect me. So I popped on the episode, the Smile 2 review of BGH, and then I just sat there griping through the whole thing.
I feel like you were given warning, just to be clear. There was
know.
warning provided. So
I know, but even Ariel let me down on that one. I was like, girl, where's the solidarity? Another win for the patriarchy.
Come on.
But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to change your minds.
Rachel,
Your
I felt like
opinions are
Ariel was
subjective.
kind of on our side.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's why she was
That's why
upset?
it's a win for the patriarchy. Eric, did you zone out?
I did.
You just like no ordered me while yes anding me.
Sorry.
The rare double twist. No, but I mean, you guys are going to feel how you feel. But to say that it doesn't have internal logic is like to miss the point of the film. Because it's all about isolating and breaking her down. The reason the demon does things the way that it does is specifically it's an escalating situation. And like it's all about breaking her psyche and so these things that you were kind of complaining about, like, why is it doing it this way now? Why is it doing? It's because it's an escalating situation, and the demon does speak to her in the first film.
I need
Does it? I just
some
couldn't
kind
remember
of
it that way.
I need some kind of grounding in what's real and what is not, and that's where I think the movie goes too
Rachel,
far.
hold on. I just want to ask the scene
Yeah.
where she's riding in the car that her friend is driving,
Yes.
and then she like wakes up and she's driving the car. Like, come on.
Well, I mean,
John's description of
what
that
do you
scene
always say?
was honestly
Come
my
on.
favorite part of that
Yes,
episode.
so the reason for that is like this is all stuff that she's now kind of like this is a psychological horror film, and we're living in the delusion that has been created in her mind by this demon. So what's happening in that car is that it's setting up an ultimate betrayal with the friend, then giving her a sense of false hope, and then breaking her again. So it's a cycle of
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I understand that
breaking
part.
her
I
down.
understand how it works in the context of the film. Here's the thing: she was.
Well, then
never
you
even in the
understand that it
car.
has internal logic, is what
But
I'm hearing.
she-
I win.
But none of the stuff makes any sense or matters.
Literally, this
I
is
mean,
what I'm saying. You could literally make an
her-
argument that she was just sitting in one room for the entire movie and hallucinating all of this.
Yeah.
And that to me is a problem because then
So-
nothing is real and I don't care.
I think it's everything she's broken after that meeting, the first meeting with Morty, the guy that she meets in the bar. I think
the
everything
bar.
post that is where you have the psyche break.
How do you
That's
know
where-
he's even real? How do we know he's real at all?
I mean, I do think he is real
'Cause
because
the
he gave us
demon
all the
can
information.
Text.
Yes. But I do think he's okay. I don't know for sure, but I believe he's real. I think they're setting up what's going to happen in the third film because
See, I don't think he's real at all. That was my read on it.
Well, but this is.
interesting.
I mean, look, they have to. If they're going to keep making these movies, we talked about this on the show. But if they're going to keep making these movies, there has to be some grounding point that, like,
Yeah.
we as an audience can. I mean, the point I think Eric made that I've thought about, like, we can't just keep redoing the same movie where the person gets broken down, like,
I think
over
we're
time.
heading
Like,
John.
into mass hysteria. I think the
John.
third film is going to break because of the way it
okay.
ends.
Well,
I think
because
we're
she
leading
kills herself in
into-
front of all of the fans.
First
So
of all,
they all are
Two
smiles
things.
now.
One, I don't think that was real either. So I disagree. And two, John, you thought
was
about me
real.
all week. That's so
I mean,
sweet.
Oh Lord.
in the 5 seconds we were talking about this movie, sure did, guy.
Thanks, buddy.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm
I didn't
not
take the very
entirely
ending literally.
Oh, I
Because
think
how
it's
could I
literal.
take literally anything?
Well, this is
Literally.
the problem with the movie.
That's the
No,
beef.
I mean, I think that's where she kind of like surfaces and has kind of her final, like she's present for that because that's when the demon.
But
does
at that point, the
the
movie
thing.
has already betrayed me too many times for me to believe anything's real.
But that's, I mean, the thing is that is the internal logic of the film. I think it either works for you or it doesn't. Like, and I think that's fair. I think you can have an opinion about it, but it does have internal logic because it's all about what's happening. It's intentionally fucking with her perspective, and you get taken along
And
for the
mine.
ride. Yeah, absolutely. And if
Rachel,
you don't enjoy that experience, that's totally fine.
I still love you. I think we're just on different sides of this divide.
Is this it? Is this the
Look,
end?
if we
Back for
all
one
were on the
last
same
hurrah?
side, that'd be a very boring
What,
show.
wait,
so.
more important question though, what did your seatmate think of this theory?
I mean, I think she wanted me to stop talking to her. She kept picking up her book.
She's like, yes.
Renee says the patriarchy was driving the car.
Renee gets it.
I was gonna say, Rachel, you're like coming at us like we were insulting a movie directed by a woman, and this was just a regular old patriarchy dude directing this here film, if I remember.
No, I mean, I guess that's true. I don't know. I mean,
No, there was accusations of the patriarchy winning, and I'm like, wait a second, when did Smile 2 become like an icon of the like feminist ideals? But in any event, it's
John, listen.
I just meant the Ariel was not in solidarity with me. I was talking about, yeah.
in the age-old battle between men and women.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Lee says, I didn't realize that was Justin Long. So the star of Tusk made his own Tusk.
That's what I was saying.
true.
He's working his shit out. And it's like Tusk without any of the scary opening act. It's just all Johnny Depp part.
What's the guy who did Barbarian? He's got something coming out soon, right?
Yeah.
Next
I've seen the
year.
trailer a couple times. What's it called, Rachel? Do you know? It's called Companion.
That's it.
Interesting. Quick, John, before we do fan mail, you went to some fancy New York shit.
Well, I don't even know if anyone outside New York City knows about this, but the ads are all over. So
La-di-da.
Jimmy Fallon, host of the Tonight Show, made a haunted maze, quote unquote, in the basement of 30 Rock called To Nightmares. And so I went to check it out. It was the production value was quite high because it's like in the basement of 30 Rock. So they're like spending some money. It's you spend whatever, it was like $40 to go, and you're in it for, and this is not an exaggeration, like 12 minutes, I would say.
Ugh.
Jesus Christ.
It's real.
That sounds like
fast.
New York City. That sounds
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was good. I enjoyed
Did it
myself.
scare you?
But there was all the scares are, there's a fucking actor with a mask on who like jumps out at you after
I
you walk
don't like
past him.
haunted houses. I know we
It's
have
like,
this discussion every year, but it's like my nervous system has been out of whack my whole life. Why do I want to go someplace to make it worse?
So you're not
thing-
doing like the full contact haunted house is what I'm
I'm doing no haunted houses. I wouldn't walk into an elementary school haunted house. I'm just not going to do it.
These third graders sure are
Scared
crazy.
the shit out of me. Punched in the face.
Yeah.
All right. Couple quick things. So, Rachel, do you want to tell, before we do fan mail, you want to tell people where they can find you?
Sure, you can find me on the Zombie Girls Horror Podcast Network. You can check out More Deadly, where Ariel and I talk about women-directed horror and get all up in our feminism, get our
John's
feminism
We're
never
dander
letting
up.
them direct horror movies now.
I know, right? Next thing they're gonna have ideas and want birth control.
Oh boy.
So, and then I was recently on an episode that's out this week of our good friend Caitlin's show, Plug It Up, where we review The Substance.
Yay.
Ooh.
We have a lot of thoughts and feelings about that one. Mostly
I
they're about
bet.
the yellow coat.
Love it. Casey, where can people find you?
I am on cinema.fromage on Threads and Instagram, so you can find my art, drawings, and random movie talk.
Love it. I'm Eric BGH on Instagram. I got a new album out. It's called Ghost. You can find it by searching Hi-Fi, HY-FY. Check it out.
Halloween party, man.
John listened to it at least once.
I listened a couple times now.
Thank you, John. One last thing. This week, it's out now. I am on Dads from the Crypt this week with our buddies Jason and Jody and Mondo. Jody was out, but I sat in. We talked a little Creep Show too.
Ooh.
Ooh.
A little, Hitchhiker and the Raft, and that other one that's not as good. And we talked about all that.
It's a throwback,
That's right.
anthology.
Draft.
Casey, what do we got on Threads?
All right, we got a bunch of threads this week. First up, the drummer from Foghat asks if you could have any horror monster or villain guest on the panel, who would it be? I'd love to hear Patrick Bateman and Schnars talk stocks and hedge funds.
Oh God.
Well, I have seen Schnars discuss NCAA basketball with David Hess from Last House on the Left, so that's pretty much.
We don't need to have him on.
By the way, did not know who he was talking to until we told him afterwards. He just was like, he saw a bro watching some basketball, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sidle up." That's like John's love language is because we always seem to be at conventions during the NCAA tournament.
Well, it's there, yeah.
Yeah, because it's always in March.
Always that weekend, and it's my favorite time to be around Schnars because he just lights up. He's so excited.
Speaking of Patrick Bateman, I read somewhere that there is a remake of American Psycho, but like someone interesting is doing it.
Luca Guadagnino.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Wow.
I
Okay.
mean, doesn't need to be remade. I'm
What's
like
the
not
face
sure.
for Rachel?
I mean, it is an iconically female-directed horror film. I have thoughts and feelings about whether or not Luca's interesting, and he might understand that Patrick Bateman is a joke, but he might not. And
I mean, listen, he made a
I don't
remake
want to
of
see him lionized.
He made a remake of Suspiria that's legitimately better than the original.
Do you think I'm going to be happy if that is the commentary about the new
I just want good movies.
No.
I just hope it's like a completely different movie. I don't know why. I mean, it can't. I mean, right? It's based on a book. Like, it's not going to be completely different. But it's a weird one to remake. If anyone's going to do it, he is the right person to do it. I feel, but
stylistically, I get it.
I have a lot of feelings about it. We'll see. I think this is when I'm going to get cranky because I feel like it's kind of a lose-lose. Like one of two things is either going to be garbage, and
who's in it?
I guess
it's not going to be garbage.
We don't know who it's going to be yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's that fun.
Who should it? Let's Dreamcast. Who's your Patrick Bateman? Skarsgård, right? Is he too old now?
Which one?
Oh.
The middle one. The one who was on Succession.
You'll be the middle one.
The Viking,
he would
the Viking guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to see it with Kenneth from 30 Rock.
Or does he have to be more? Or does he have to be more jacked? Like Christian Bale was pretty jacked.
Did you see him in The Northman? He's pretty fucking jacked.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell. He goes back and forth though.
I feel like he
who's like psycho? Like you know who would have been great?
That can pull off like
what about his
summering as a verb.
You know who would have been great, except he's a cannibal now, is Armie Hammer.
Oh, literally perfect casting, and it's Luca Guadagnino. I bet it's going to be Armie Hammer.
Can you cast Armie Hammer now?
Back? No.
I bet you this is his comeback movie.
Stop it.
There's
no way.
Whoa.
He's got a podcast now.
How about our boy there, Sebastian Stan?
Ooh, Renee just said Dan Stevens in the chat. I can get behind a Dan Stevens.
No, I don't want to see him like that.
Dan Stevens.
That'll hurt my feelings.
There's a lot of ladies that would lose their minds
in that movie.
If Dan Stevens was in that movie.
Although he was pretty great in The Guest, and he kind of in a similar sort of like dead behind the eyes role. That could actually work.
Arlie says Bateman is 27 in the book.
Yeah, it's pretty young. I mean, that's like all the people we're talking about are too old.
I don't know young people, John.
I just watched this movie. It was not great. It was called The Line, and it was about like a frat hazing gone wrong. And Lewis Pullman was sort of like the frat president, and he might be the perfect level of smarmy for that role.
Interesting. I don't know who that is.
Lewis Pullman. Oh yeah, I recognize this guy.
Yeah.
He's 31.
He was
that can work.
Yeah.
All right. Next up here on Threads, we got deformed_za. I have new questions this week. I just hate you all for making me watch this drivel.
John did too. He wanted to tap out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he did.
Next up, a text or two.
Matt Lloyd Poet writes in, what's the most random tape you found back in the day? There was once a discarded VHS on an old path up to my family house, was in the grass for weeks, and one day I took it home. Turned out to be an hour of softcore porn. As a teenager at the time, I was pretty stoked.
We had some
That's
of those kicking
all
around.
of the tapes you find outside as a teenager.
We had one that was like, I still have the copy of Spaceballs that my family taped off HBO in like 1985 or something.
Nice.
And I remember there was a like random. There was a tape that had a couple movies and like a wrestling show on it, and then in the middle of it was like a news story where they interviewed my dad for. It was just perfect VHS, like just the most random shit, just one after the other.
But you didn't find that. That was like a tape that was your family's tape. Yeah.
I guess I've never really found anything that cool. I was just making my own psychotic VHS compilation.
Elwood Jones 99 asks, with more titles getting a VHS collector's release, is this a sign of a VHS revival like with vinyl, or just labels cashing in on genre fans?
It really pisses me off that the new ones are all $40. Like, is that fucking necessary for a hunk of plastic? Because I just feel like I'm being exploited, which I know I am, but don't make me feel that way, John. Like, kiss me first.
Yeah.
You want to have a
Love of God.
conversation beforehand. You got to like
Yeah.
negotiate terms.
Caressing, you know? It just is. It just pisses me off. Like $40.
It comes in a gold box though, so
I made this point in the show last week. If I'm going to spend $40 in VHS, I'm going to go buy one of the movies original VHS I'm missing from like my collection.
Yeah, I'd rather go dig around at the Goodwill or something and see what good stuff I find.
I'm displeased by this move because I already feel like there's too much competition for the VHSs that I want to collect. So I don't want them to become a hot item.
I can't. I mean, we'll see. I guess I don't know. I assume the cost will come down. Like, there's probably one fucking place in the world that's like making these things right now, and that's why they're expensive. If people buy them, they'll come down in price. Like, to your point,
Walmart's is selling a VCR again.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got the Jace. Every review I read of this one, Rip's Fur Babies, is by far the worst short, but I loved it. What is broken inside me that seeing those janky dogs attacking the delivery guy had me cracking up.
It's
that
funny.
Part was great.
It is kind of funny. Yeah. I thought he was like channeling, obviously Tusk, but I thought he was channeling a little bit of Barbarian there from his Barbarian experience as well.
I could see a little bit.
The whole basement setup.
Oh, here's an out-of-pocket suggestion for Patrick Bateman, the youngest Culkin.
Nice.
Get him on the juice.
Yeah.
That sounds like that would actually work. Yeah, I can see that.
That's the one. Which is the youngest?
Rory.
That's the one that was in Scream 4.
I got $1 says it's Jacob.
Or is that the one who was in Succession?
No. That's the one that was in
That's
Scream
Kieran.
4.
Kieran.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I can see that.
I got $1 says it's Jacob Elordi.
Yeah,
that works.
He's got a.
Well,
he's
Rachel,
he's
the
good.
right age. He's right the age. Yeah,
honestly,
right age. He's fancy
looking. He's off doing that Wuthering Heights thing. The new Emerald Fennell.
You know my beef with him? He's like too pretty. Like Christian Bale, comes from just Christian Bale, attractive person, right? But he's kind of weird looking. I like a nice like 20 to 30% weird looking person who's also really attractive. Like Jacob Elordi just looks like he just walked out of an American Eagle catalog or something. Like that's not interesting to me.
Oh yeah, it looks like he's about 12.
All good actors need a little. All good actors need a little bit of weird in there.
Yeah, I could see that.
You want character? I get the point you're making, but I don't know. I think it's fine.
All right.
You would, John. You also look like you stepped out of an American Eagle catalog.
Come on, I'll take it, but.
We got one last thread out here from Roger.Lee, and I think it's a good one for this crew. Since y'all talked to Nora pre-show, what's the first movie moment that made you appreciate the sexy?
Oh, I know this. It's just one of the guys. The ending of that movie. I also remember having so that was pretty young because my grandmother used to just throw on HBO anytime and didn't give a shit what was on.
Yeah.
And, but I do remember one time when I was about 10 or 11, this is really wild to me now. I would just send my mom, she would go shopping and the video store was in the grocery store and I'd be like, just rent me a horror movie. And she came back one week with Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I had never seen it before.
I rented that pretty young.
And I watched it and I was like, oh my Lord, what is happening?
Yeah.
Mine wasn't necessarily a movie, but back in the day, in the 80s, Diana from V, the miniseries.
And that was
young Casey found out what a stern woman was all about.
Oh man.
was my favorite. Someone else say something, please.
Let's just let that linger.
No, yeah, I got nothing.
You got to let it linger.
I feel like
she's
I
got some
saw-
good big 80s hair too.
Oh yeah.
I
Go
think I
ahead,
saw
Rachel.
the Doors at a really young age, and there was like
Okay.
an over the top shot of just Val Kilmer, Mad Mardigan, just going to
Yeah.
town, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Whoa!" So that's how that works. Holy shit! Okay, I'd seen a dirty pack of cards, so I knew what he was working with. But then I saw how he put the equipment to work.
Wow. All right, John, you're the only one. You got to give us something.
Well, is the question like what was the awakening, or like
What's
what
your
was
first
the first
horny
like,
memory,
sexy-
John?
Well, I mean, I guess the one Casey sort of made me think like when they used to show the reruns of like I Dream of Jeannie during the
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Jeannie, you know,
I love this answer.
that was like a fun one. You know,
That's
Doing it
fair.
for ya.
not like it's not like erotica or anything, but as a young man,
No,
you're
John,
down to-
listen, you don't have to tell me. It was a simpler time.
It was a simpler time.
Yeah.
Or what's the Gilligan's Island with the? You had the two like there were more than two ladies, but there were like the two attractive ladies on the island that I remember, Ginger and Marianne.
Marianne, yeah.
Marianne. Mm-hmm. And all the dudes on the island were complete doofuses. So it's just
I love this. That's so wholesome, John. I feel like you're
Well,
holding back.
Yeah.
I can't remember, dude.
Same.
I had the same experience where like my grandfather would just put on whatever was on HBO on Saturday night, and so like I'm sure I saw a bunch of inappropriate
Renee,
shit. But
this all feels like very much none of my business. Tough shit, dude. You're watching. What do you want?
Come on, Renee. You know you love it.
Is that it, Casey?
That is it.
Oh man, that was a good one. All right. All right, Dad's from the Crypt. Yep. Can't say this person's name. Should VHS as a series stick to this formula now, focusing on one subgenre? If it actually did that, yes, I think it should.
Well, there's another one coming.
This person also says,
yeah,
did
there's
the
one every
dogs,
year, isn't there? Like it's
did
like
the
a
dog
thing.
segment feel out of place for anyone else?
It's the
A
one
little
that
bit.
stretches the formula here.
It's the only
Yeah,
silly
definitely.
one. It's the only
It's
funny
not.
one.
It's not beyond anything. Let's just be clear. So
Well, if you think of it as the sci-fi bubble, like you talk about, it works, but it's still the outlier.
What do you
Listen,
want
it's-
the theme to be? Pick a theme.
a theme.
I was thinking, yeah.
I thought. Oh, you mean going forward? Like what's
Yeah.
another thing? Mm.
Yeah, like what do you? Because they said that VHS 8 is coming, but they haven't said what. Like they just said VHS 8. They haven't like named it yet. So,
I
what
think a
theme do you
cryptid-
want to see?
VHS cryptids would be
Cryptids?
perfect.
There you go.
Cryptids would be
See?
sweet. I was
That's-
gonna say like animals attack.
Oh,
Like just
Okay.
do with that what you will.
oh.
You could do
Okay.
body horror, and you do anything.
Mm-hmm. But what would you be excited to see?
At this point,
I like
nothing.
that cryptid answer.
Yeah.
I'm never feeling excited again about one of these until they win me back. Is how I feel.
Yeah.
Oh my lord!
But even
And listen-
not the major ones.
Here's the thing. There's competition now to be the Halloween thing, okay?
Yeah.
If you're not beating Terrifier, then
or
I'm not excited
smile. That's good. That was good, Rachel. I like it.
Polly says, has this series outstayed its welcome, even for found footage lovers? I do. Listen, I enjoy just a dumb thing every year. I'm cool with that. That's fine.
And
I
it's
wouldn't
tied
say
in,
don't. I wouldn't say don't make these.
and now Shutter's putting them out, so it's easily accessible, and it's fun around. It's stupid fun around Halloween. I'm down.
Yeah. Dan says, should they make a VHS series supercut with all the best shorts? I'd watch that. So this ties
That's
in.
what I was saying.
This ties in with a bunch of other questions. Just what's your favorite?
Mhm.
I think for me, it might be the first one of the first movie. I think it's that one where they go out to the club and the guy's got the camera in his glasses. It's just so simple and effective.
That's amateur night.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, because I think
So.
the wraparound one there is called Tape 56. I'm looking. If you go to the Wikipedia for the franchise, they have all of them listed out in order. The best one is the Timo.
Safe
I
Haven.
can't say his last name. The Timo one, Safe Haven.
Toronto?
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah, it's
good.
something
I have
like
others I like as much, but yeah, the alien one with the kids is great.
Yeah, I like that one.
Slumber Party Alien Abduction.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Ratma.
That haunted house one that I mentioned, Ratma.
What is
I mean,
that movie?
Ratma is awesome.
I wouldn't put Ratma in the top 5, but it's very
Oh, I
effective.
would.
It has some very good
I would.
moments.
Which
for
one
sure.
was that's on 99?
That was 2 years ago, I think, or 3 years ago.
Also, the one in the last one where they're like shooting the people on the boat is pretty great and
Yes, the
That
sniper
one
one
was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
And it had a good payoff with like sort of the
Just-
two-parter where you see the other side of it.
Yep.
That was in that was in 85, you think?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which one
That
was
was
it?
Plug it
I
up,
think
Pod.
I was gonna say, I think they got the VHS people have a great opportunity here too. I mean, they could do some like fan sourcing and stuff, post polls on what kind of themes you want to see and stuff like that, and start tailoring these. They can churn them out quick. It seems like a good business.
Not too quick. We want them to
Yeah.
think about these a little bit.
Well, the 1 a year formula.
You're like, I don't need another VHS viral in my life.
Yeah, true.
Plug it up, Pod. What's your favorite kind of tea?
I drink a lot of kava tea,
Do you? I was just watching a thing on Kava the other day.
yogi teas. We get the like yogi teas by the box. And,
They used to be good. I feel like they went downhill.
I don't know. We drink the ginger and we get the kava, and then there's like a couple other that we'll sprinkle in every once in a while. But
I like a nice, really like just earthy green tea with just nothing in it, just straight to the dome,
I love a
and make it
peppermint tea.
very, like, oh, I have it right here. Like this is what I brew my tea in. It's disgusting. Is what I brew my tea in every day, filled to the top. Like it's like 2 tablespoons of tea.
It looks
in
like
here.
a planter.
No,
It
it's just a tea strainer, but it's just old because I use it every day.
wait, Rachel,
Colleen
what
said-
was yours? Peppermint?
I like a nice peppermint tea. Like it feels like you're spoiling yourself. It's just like nice and cozy.
It's good for your digestive system too, which
True.
Oh, you know.
I like.
Yeah. Well,
Colleen's
digestion is
family is
important.
our entire family is from Ireland, so we're big on English breakfast tea, and it's pretty close to coffee. So
A nice black
yeah.
tea, sure.
yeah,
Yeah, I like a nice spicy sort of cinnamony chai as
Chai.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Love it. Okay, just a couple more. Werewolves and the Wolfman coming out in a few months. Ready for this, Eric? That's from Schnecky91. I think
What's
he's trolling me.
werewolves?
I don't know.
don't
The
know.
Wolfman. I've seen the trailer a bunch of times. It's Lee Winnell. Here's my take.
ready.
It looks like he's remaking The Invisible Man, but with the Wolfman.
Cool.
Yeah.
love
I
the
also
Invisible
feel
Man.
like
Let's
the
do it.
trailer shows the entire movie, which I don't love.
The Invisible Man was pretty sick.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie. I mean, Lee Winnell's he's good. He knows what he's doing. Like, I'm not worried.
Yeah.
And the cast is really good. It's what's her name? Garner? Not Jennifer Garner.
Julia Garner.
Julia Garner.
Ooh, I
and then
like
I
her.
can't remember the dude's name, but he's also good.
You're gonna
I
have
like
to
him.
kill me. She's the best. Honestly, she's the only reason that show is watchable in the last 2 seasons.
Are you talking about Ozark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever
I mean,
see?
It's the worst final season. It's a worse final season than Dexter, honestly.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
Ooh.
Game of Thrones, and I was going to be like,
That's
lies. false
No, no,
strong,
no, no.
dude.
That show, the final season, that show is unwatchable.
Unwatchable. Did you ever
Are
see?
you guys both talking about
We
it?
Are What
I-
We Are?
whatever.
Ozark.
I think we might have covered it on the show.
What's that, Rachel?
Oh, that was the first thing I ever saw Julia Garner in. Was that We Are What We Are? It's like the cannibal family. It's so good.
I don't
Yeah, we
remember.
did. We watched it, episode 273.
That was a
most
lifetime.
tense scene
That was a lifetime
about
ago,
soup.
John. This is episode
It
like
was.
almost 800.
I do remember she was like the daughter.
yeah, she was like
Yeah.
12 or 14.
By the way, what did we
Wow,
figure
she's
out?
probably
We're
young.
gonna
Yeah, but
hit episode 800 in like February or March or something.
yeah, isn't
I
that?
think February.
Wild. All right, 2 more questions. First one: thoughts on the fan theories about Trap being a part of the Unbreakable universe?
I mean, it's absurd enough, sure. Like,
I
I think
wouldn't put
it
that
past
movie
him.
makes more sense if it takes place in a world with superheroes.
If it is,
Like,
I might have to put it into my top 10.
Eric, as you recall, I wasn't on the show, but I was your fellow like trap apologist. So you will get. I will tell you the
Trapologist.
next show that Ariel or that Matilda and I went to and saw Bikini Kill, and she was like, now imagine an FBI agent just starts pulling people out of here. I was like, all right, let it go.
And there's like 30 tents they're just ushering people into, so they can just pull them in, set them down, and be like, "Did you do it? Was it
Let me
you?
just enjoy-
No? Okay, go move along. You can go find your abandoned children now back in the theater."
Now I have to take up for this. He had a tattoo. They knew about his tattoo. They were checking for his tattoo.
Yeah.
They needed to pull you all the way into a tent to do that?
No. But you guys were like, he's just gonna say that he didn't do it, and they're gonna let him go. But no, they were checking for the tattoo. I can't believe I'm defending Trap. Don't do this to me.
That doesn't explain, though, the just yanking fathers out of the crowd and their children are just there.
Guys, they fucking put on a whole extra concert and somehow got him to buy a ticket to it. Like,
Incredible.
whatever. It was, yeah.
Okay. Okay, John. God damn it. That is explained in the movie.
Yeah.
Is it?
I was like, I was just gonna let it go.
The wife plants the ticket at his safe house and then
Oh,
calls
yeah.
the police on the safe house, and they find.
But it was an extra show. This is why it was the whole thing.
She was just
confusing.
having an extra show. The show was not for the trap. They turned the extra
Until
show
it
into
was.
the trap.
I don't know. Then that's fucking.
I thought they
needlessly
set up the
complicated
second
and-
show. Yeah.
It's actually very straightforward. Your version is needlessly complicated.
Listen, moment of the year is just like
I forgot about the wife. to be
fragile
clear.
Haley Mills being whisked around on a golf cart and getting up and being like, investigating.
I forgot Haley Mills. Was
Yes.
She's his
She's like a
counterpart.
wisp of a human. Like,
She's
let
the,
her listen. Let
she's
Haley
the Bruce
Mills
Willis to his glass.
let Haley Mills drink tea and just collect residuals. Like, she
I
doesn't
bet
need to
she
be.
knows the best peppermint tea. She has.
Oh
a
my
line
God,
of the
are you
best
kidding me?
of the
Yeah.
best.
And she's got like a bunch of old candy, like those old strawberry hard candies in her house. I bet.
Do you think she has circus peanuts?
Or like ribbon candy. My grandmother always had ribbon candy. It would just like destroy your teeth.
Oh, the worst. The worst.
Last question. A podcast called Freakonomics Radio thanks a John Schnars. Is this our John?
It is.
I don't know if you guys know this. Like, John's kind of a big deal.
Is it really you?
Yeah.
Yes, it's me.
Okay.
That's I am working with the Freakonomics Podcast Network. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
It's very cool. They're good folk, and they make very good podcasts. I mean, it's no bloody hard. Like, just to be clear, but
Yeah.
They give good podcasts, John.
great podcast.
Love it. All right. That's it. Next week, John, you say it. I want to hear you say it again. What are we doing next
Is
week?
it? Oh fuck! Now I don't want to miss because I've been making fun of. It's called Frankie Frico.
Hell yeah. We're doing
I was
that.
worried I was making up a name that was like close, but not.
Nope,
exactly
that's it.
correct. Yeah,
That's the name.
Frico. Guys, I know nothing about this movie other than what the fucking picture of the dude looks like.
I feel like that's all you need, right? Like
No,
Yeah,
Oh,
from the
that's
and all you need is that picture and from the makers of Psycho Gorman.
Yeah, I mean,
I really hope there's just a disembodied brain in like a tub again, walking
brain.
around.
Just
Just cruising around the woods like you do.
hunky boys,
holy
John.
shit. Yeah.
Not my hunky boys.
Can't wait. That's it. We're diving in. Get ready. Hope everybody had a happy and safe Halloween because this will come out Friday. And we'll talk to you soon.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.